To illustrate the interactivity with Feplot figures, I propose to follow the dedicated tutorial, the Feplot interactivity tutorial you see here. So I will just place it here, reduce a bit. Okay, like this. So first step is to run the step 1 automatically. The objective is just to load a finite element model, very light one, you can see here. So now the Feplot figure contains this finite element model with the mode shapes results, and I will use this test case to illustrate the main ways to interact with Feplot figures. So we will talk about controlling the camera, about shape animation and navigation between all the channels that here corresponds to computed mode shapes. We will talk about images and movies generation, and finally the navigation into Feplot property figures. So just before diving into all these steps, a quick reminder, you can find the list of all interactivity shortcuts by pressing the key question mark when the Feplot figure is selected, and here you will have the full list of shortcuts related to key pressed, related to scrolling, and related to mouse click. So now let's talk about how to control the camera. The first thing we want to do is to rotate around this finite element model. To do so, you can press Ctrl and left click, and now when you drag, this will rotate the camera around the model. To have finer control about around which axis the camera turns, you can press the U button and then click. You see here that the finite element model rotates only around the horizontal axis. If you click on V, this will allow a rotation around the vertical axis only. And finally, the W will allow you to rotate around the perpendicular axis to the screen. Then you can zoom with Ctrl plus scroll, like this, and you can translate your FEM with Shift and drag. Like with the rotation, you can enforce translation through the main axis, pressing X plus drag. You will translate only around the horizontal axis. Y plus drag, only the vertical axis. And Z plus drag will move the FEM forward and backward. For some cases, it's easier to use default views, which will enforce view in the main coordinates. So by pressing 1, this moves the camera on the XZ plane, 2 on the XY plane, 3 will move the camera on a diagonal-like view, and pressing 4 is in the YZ plane. If for some reason you are lost, you don't know where your FEM is anymore, you can press either these 4 default views or the key I or double click, and this will move the camera back to the model. One last interesting way to interact with the camera is the flip view. If you press F, this will move the camera behind your previous point of view. Okay, so this was for the interaction with the camera. Now I'd like to discuss the animation of the shapes. So here we have the first rigid body mode of this model, and if I click on this button, you can see the animation of this particular mode. And to have a look at the other modes, you can either click on the plus minus button here, or use the scroll, the mouse scroll. Here you can see the first flexible mode. You can also use right and left arrow, plus and minus button as you want. Sometimes we want to increase or decrease a bit the deformation scale. This is possible using the key L. So you can press L, Shift L to increase, and L only to decrease the scaling. And for a finer control, you can press L and then use the mouse scroll to finally increase or decrease the scaling amplitude. Okay, let's stop the animation. And now I want to discuss the Feplot capture, which can be done in two ways: either capturing the fixed image like this, or generating movie to have the mode shape animation in a GIF file. So you can click here to generate the capture. So you can see in the MATLAB console where the file has been generated here. And if you click on this icon, this will generate the movie instead of a static image. And once again, you will have in the console the link to the file here. Okay, and finally I just want to show you the main entry points toward the interaction and the analysis with the model without entering into the details, because it will be part of other tutorials. The first thing is the file menu, where you will find all the callbacks to save and load finite element model. The Feplot menu is more about how the finite element model is rendered. You can have a look at the colors, the animation schemes, and so on. With right clicks on the axe, you have more options to interact with the rendering options. And finally, you can find here an icon which opens another figure, which is the Feplot property figure, where you will find all that is inside the finite element model. So the groups of elements, the material properties, the element properties, and so on. Thank you.